Gang, welcome to Blue Chips. I'm Matty Kiwoom, and today we're going through my top 8 quarterbacks in college football. 1 through 8. Every single one of them are eligible for the 2026 draft. That's right. We're already turning the page. 25 draft just happened a couple months ago, but I'm already focused on the 2026 NFL draft. I got my stage 1 scouting underway, going through the quarterback position. So without further ado, here are my top 8 quarterbacks eligible for the 2026 NFL Draft. Coming in at number 8 is Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, 6'5", 225 pounds. Yep, that is NFL size. He is a junior. He transferred from Cal, became the starter last year, made a pretty decent step up in terms of his development, going to becoming a full-time starter at Cal. So he does kind of pop in that regard. Now, Mendoza might be the dark horse of all these quarterbacks to absolutely catapult up the ranks. I got him at number 8 now, but he has the size. He has a lot of the intangibles that the NFL scouts will be excited with. And going from Cal to Indiana was the perfect move for Mendoza. Going, linking up with Curt Cignetti, a program that is absolutely on the rise. He's going to be, in prime time. He's going to have the spotlight on him. Indiana made the playoffs just a year ago, are expected to be as good, if not better, heading into 2025, and Mendoza is the projected starter. So if he has a good season here in 2025, I believe he is the guy that could catapult up this list and be potentially a top 3-5 quarterback in this class, absolutely being discussed as a round 1 pick in the NFL draft. Now, let's get into a little bit of the tape. What did I see from Mendoza? He did display good instincts at Cal. You can tell that the processing speed is there. He makes good reads. He can kind of scan the field and go from read to read pretty well, especially as that, being that first-time starter last year. I really like a number of the throws that he makes on the field, in particular the back shoulder throw. Mendoza throws a really damn good back shoulder throw, which is a play that gets utilized a ton in the NFL, and I think scouts will absolutely be drawn to his ability to kind of make that play happen consistently. Now, one thing that did stand out, Mendoza is not a big-time athlete. I wouldn't, he's not going to rank very highly in mobility metrics in the new college football game that's coming out, but he can navigate the pocket well. His footwork is good, can get better, like a lot of these guys can, but not a ton of mobility. Now, my comp for Fernando Mendoza, as of right now, let me just get this out of the way. Comps is exactly what I think it is. I don't know what they'll be. I don't know if it's their play style. It's just when I watch them, when I'm in my stage 1 scouting, what does it remind me? What player does he remind me of? That's my comps, and I'll go through every one of these guys. I'll give a comp. My comp from Fernando Mendoza, Derek Carr. So Mendoza, dark horse. Will he catapult the rankings? Will he fall down these rankings? I don't know, but I do like what I see, and I think he's going to have a chance to kind of really build off and have a strong 2025 season. All right, coming in at number 7 is the quarterback for the Arizona State Sun Devils, Sam Leavitt. Leavitt is coming off a pretty impressive 2024 season. They don't throw the ball a ton at Arizona State, but he looked pretty good doing it, led the team to the college football playoffs. So that's a huge thing. Now, let's get into the profile. Let's talk a little about Sam Leavitt here. 6'2", 200 pounds. So a little thin, but he's got the size. And, he can see over the line. He's not a shrimp. He's not a squeak. Redshirt sophomore. Did start his career at Michigan State, but didn't do a whole lot for the Spartans. Obviously has done quite a bit for the Sun Devils. My overall my take about Sam Leavitt when watching him on the film, when I'm breaking down this quarterback class so far in my stage 1 scouting, he is the wild boy of the class. I just put on MGK. I'm a wild boy. That's Sam Leavitt. Just kind of a whirling dervish of excitement and disappointment and thrills and scares and all that stuff. He brings out all the emotions. But when you look at the tape, few things do stand out. He's got a bit of a long delivery, but I'll be honest, if he has the time and he sets himself up in the pocket, my man can absolutely rip it. He can throw absolute lasers. I'm not sure if he can really attack like the outside part of the field with his arm. They do a lot of plays over the middle, a lot of short kind of passes. Overall, you see the arm strength. I just would hope in 2025, I hope they let him air it out. Jordan Tyson on the outside, one of the best receivers in college football. I hope that he can kind of attack outside the hash marks a lot more and really just kind of answer that question, because Sam Leavitt does have a lot of talent, great athlete. I mean, he is a really, really good athlete. It's noticeable when he takes off out of the pocket. He uses that mobility, that athleticism to make plays, and boy, is he not scared to try to make plays, maybe even to his detriment at times. The thing is, he's a bit reckless. He's a bit careless. He's a bit of that cowboy. He's got that wildness in him, like I said, wild boy of the class. The athleticism is good in college, really good. I don't know if he can play with that level of don't give a F mentality in the NFL. I don't know if he has that kind of athleticism, but again, he definitely has the athleticism that pops when you watch film. The 3 words. I'll give it to you. Let me just summarize Sam Leavitt with 3 words: reckless, but dangerous. Take that what you will. It can be reckless, but it can be dangerous, both good and bad. That's Sam Leavitt in a nutshell. My comp for him is Will Levis. Will Levis, coming out of Kentucky, he kind of showed enough athleticism with the live arm, kind of rolling out to his right, being able to make big throws. I see a lot of that in Sam Leavitt. Now, I do see a lot of the, like I said, don't give a F mentality that Sam Levis showed in the NFL that didn't work out. And I guess that is the case, and that is why he is my comp, Will Levis. Now, Sam Leavitt could be in for a big 2025 season. We'll see, but as of right now, number 7 in my quarterback list. Coming in at number 6 is John Mateer, quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners. 6'1", 220 pounds. He is a junior. He is coming in from Washington State. He played his season in 2024 at Wazoo, and now he is going to Oklahoma, which is a really, really nice step up in competition. When you're scouting these guys, seeing, players do well at kind of lesser programs, taking that step up, showing that tenacity, showing the cojones to go to the SEC and try to, make his mark. Love that nice step up in competition. And right off the bat, I'll just say this. As of right now, he is my favorite quarterback. Like I said, stage 1 scouting, you're going to hear that a million times from me because that's where I'm at right now. Summer scouting, as some people call it, my stage 1 scouting. He's my favorite quarterback so far in the process. Mateer is a fun player to watch, no doubt about it. He can kind of do it all, and you'll see that in the film, in his highlights and his lowlights. It's a lot of fun. He's got a bit of a funky delivery, but I see a quick release, which is good. If you're not able to check out any of his YouTube clips or any of his highlights or lowlights or whatever, any of the film, think of this. When you're creating your quarterback in Madden and you pick the arm motion, the sling, the sling, that's kind of what John Mateer kind of throws like, the sling motions. But it's a funky one. It's not quite Phillip Rivers. Maybe it is a little Phillip Rivers. I don't know. But it's quick. He can get the ball out quick, which is good. And the ball comes out with absolute power. Zip. John Mateer can absolutely slang that thing all over the field. He can make the throws, deep throws. It doesn't always look pretty, but he could put it on a dime. And it's funny because I last year in the process, throughout the entire process, I was very high on Kyle Williams. Loved Kyle Williams from Wazoo. So watching a ton of his film, obviously Mateer was delivering the ball. And all the time I thought, man, that's a good throw. But I hadn't really started that John Mateer scouting, so it just didn't put the pieces together. But now that I have, man, that was a nice little link up there, Mateer to Kyle Williams. But anyway, let's get back to just Mateer. Talked about the throwing. But what really stands out is his ability to scoot on the ground. 826 rushing yards in 2024. He's a good rusher. He don't cur. He will take the hits. Again, we don't like that going into the NFL, but in college, it does bring that wow factor that scouts will absolutely be drawn to. You can see it all over the film. He's a really strong rusher. Now, I see a little potential to be a Kyler Murray in his game, but I don't think he's quite that fast, so I didn't want to give him that label. My comp for John Mateer is Russell Wilson at NC State. Not a guy that necessarily will run a bunch, and the gameplay might not come, with a lot of rushes, designed rushes for Mateer, but he can run when the play breaks down. Like we said, almost 900 rushing yards last year, 826. I don't know if that's almost 900, but that's just whatever. I'm just boosting up my guy, I guess. But Russell Wilson, that's my comp. John Mateer, he's my favorite in my stage 1 scouting, and that's why he's number 6 on my QB list. All right, coming in at number 5 might be a bit of a surprise to most because I think he is the guy sitting atop a lot of QB rankings at this point in the process. But my number 5 quarterback is Cade Klubnik from Clemson, 6'2", 210 pounds. He is going into his senior season. He's be his third as a starter at Clemson. Now, that's exactly where I want to start. Being at Clemson, the progression, because I loved his progression throughout the years, where he started, where he is now, what he's poised to be in 2025 is that upward trajectory. It is that climbing, that ascension that we like to see from quarterbacks being able to hold their own, especially at a big time program like Clemson. They are projected to be one of, or maybe even the most talented team going into next year. So a lot of pressure. He improved every single year at Clemson. It's a great sign to see. You know, Dabo doesn't love the transfer window, and maybe that helped Klubnik because after his first year as a starter, maybe even after his second year as a starter, he might have went the transfer out. But now after having the third, as I said, going into his last year, his final year, senior year at Clemson, he started a lot of games. So seeing that upward trajectory has been great. He does have that prospect pedigree that we like at quarterback, kind of lays that nice bedrock in terms of how we're building the scouting profile. He's a big-time Texas recruit. And anytime you hear about a big program, Texas recruit, that big 6-star, 6A, whatever they call it, where all the future NFL players start getting familiar with each other in Texas, he's a big-time recruit from that scene, maybe even Texas Legends type stuff. Like we hear this about like Kyler Murray's. We hear this about certain players that just like their reputation precedes them. And Cade Klubnik is absolutely one of those guys. But when looking at his arm, I don't know if it's an electric arm. I don't know if he's going to suck the air out of the stadium type arm, but it is effective and it is accurate. And we have seen a quarterback don this uniform that didn't have the most electric arm that had success at the NFL early on. He's dealing with some stuff now, maybe the worst contract in North American sports history, but did get picked in the first round and had success, did take his team to the playoffs once upon a time. Klubnik does have a little bit of similarities in that regard. And when you watch the film, the experience seeps through. I mean, you can absolutely, it's palatable. You can taste the experience, just being able to stay poised in the pocket, moving around. The mobility is there, the athleticism there, the arm, again, not electric, but effective. And all that just kind of comes through the screen when you're watching the film. He's a good prospect. I don't know if he's going to end up being the number 1 pick in the draft, but he absolutely has that in the realm of possibilities. A big jump here, a national championship run from Clemson on the back of a Cade Klubnik would propel this guy into that top conversation. Absolutely. And I wouldn't really resist it. Matter of fact, the comp that I have for Cade Klubnik is a former number 1 overall pick, Alex Smith, a guy that you might not know, you're not looking at being a dual threat. He's on, an electric runner like someone else in this list that we'll get to here in a bit, but can scoop, has the athleticism to run, maybe doesn't run a ton in college, but I think has the athleticism to run in the pros. We've seen that time and time again where athleticism isn't necessarily needed in the moment at college, but needs it once you go to a bad offensive line as a top 5 pick. Not putting that on him. I don't want him to have to run for his life at the NFL, but I'm saying if he has to, I think he can make it happen. Good enough athlete, good enough prospect, and the experience is there. Now we've seen it over these last few years, the importance of NFL teams getting these quarterbacks with experience, with a lot of snaps under their belt. Cade Klubnik's going to come with a ton of experience, and I believe that will help his draft stock. Number 5 on my list right now, but I'm projecting a ton here with my top 4. That's what we do here in Stage 1 Scouting. We can project as you want, but Cade Klubnik coming in at number 5. All right, we got a top 4 coming up here. We got the number 1, the number 2, number 3, and number 4 on the list. But before we do, let's hear from the Podfather.
Theo Greminger is gone. We wish him all the best, but he did leave for us a great gift, the 2025 Player Profiler Rookie Guide. That's right. It is here. It is beautiful. It will help you dominate your rookie drafts this year. It features 60-plus player breakdowns, written primarily by Theo Greminger himself, as well as our proprietary NFL draft grades and strategy and tactics for dominating your rookie draft this year. We have a composite rankings with Theo's rankings, Cody, John Lobb, Jagger May, and Jax Falcone. It's right there on Player Profiler. It's $20. You won't find a better draft kit. You certainly won't find a better draft kit value. So go get it on PlayerProfiler.com.
Boom. Coming at number 4, coming in hot, Drew Allar. Drew Allar probably is the most polarizing player at the quarterback position in my horrible choice of words there, Q, because this class in general is very polarizing, but there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of ups and downs with Drew Allar. A lot of people are high on him. A lot of people are very low on Drew Allar. But let's get into what I think about the Penn State quarterback. Drew Allar, 6'5", 235 pounds, a big boy, going into his senior season. Now, like I mentioned, a large range of outcomes here at this call with Drew Allar. I could see him being the number 1 overall pick. I could see him being a 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick. Hell, I mean, maybe falling by the wayside like Will Howard. I don't know. What does appear very clear on tape is he absolutely rips the ball over the middle. We're talking about slants. We're talking about seam routes. He can absolutely zip it in to a window, a very small window. Please don't screenshot that. But he can zip it over the middle, those seams, those slants. It's very impressive. Now, I don't know the outside throws in if it comes with that much zip. If the throws outside of the hash marks don't come with the same whoa, what was that, as his throws over the middle, but he definitely has the arm to execute and throw the ball outside of the hash marks, no doubt about it. He doesn't have mobility, that's for sure. I wouldn't necessarily call him a statue, but the thing about it that's weird, he clearly isn't a massive athlete. He's not going to burst it. I mean, he's not going to all of a sudden run a ridiculous 40 time. He's not going to be like, oh my God, look at this athlete. He's not going to pop on the player profiler page and be like, look at this athlete. He's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the class. That ain't going to happen. But when you watch him play, it could be a 3rd and 7. He gets 9. It could be a 2nd and 12. He gets 12. I mean, he does show the ability to step up and scramble up the field and pick up first downs. I don't know if that's going to translate to speed at all. When I watch his film, speed never came up. It's not once in my notes. I can show you my notebook. There's no speed notes for Allar. But as a scrambler, it's just he gets it done somehow. We'll see. I'm not banking on that in the next level, but impressive so far as a Nittany Lion. But not as impressive as his TD to interception ratio. I mean, you want a guy who throws touchdowns and doesn't throw picks, Drew Allar is your guy. Now, he got a lot of criticism 2 years ago for this because training wheels, kid gloves, all of these terms were used in terms of their offense and how they used Drew Allar and how they allowed him to kind of manage the game and not take a lot of big risks, and that obviously helped the TD interception ratio. But last year, a lot of the same. There was more recklessness. They opened it up a bit. He threw some more interceptions, but still had a high touchdown rate. Very good ratio. Careful with the ball, and I believe the NFL will absolutely be drawn to that type of that level of ball control that he's shown if he can do it again in 2025. But here's the thing. Well, there's 2 sides of this coin. The experience thing. He's going to have a lot of experience. Going back to school for that last year has a lot of the same type of kind of, it has a lot of the same energy as the Michigan team 2 years ago when a lot of their starters came back for a title run. A lot of the guys last year at Ohio State going back to try to win a national championship. Penn State's kind of doing that this year. Both their running backs, Drew Allar, they all came back in efforts to win. He's going to have a ton of starts under his belt. This is a kid that was a big 5-star recruit coming out of high school, made his way to Penn State, started pretty early on and hasn't let go. And he's been the signal caller for the Nittany Lions now for some time. And that experience is going to help his progression, his ability to get drafted at a high level. Now with the production and the size, that's how he can kind of catapult his way up the draft boards. Now the other side of that coin, the experience, we've seen him a lot. We've gotten to watch him a lot. And the criticisms of Penn State are absolutely there for Drew Allar. Can he win the big game? As my guy and your guy, Cody Carpentier, says, does he got that dog in him? How is he going to rate in Cody's dog rating? I don't know yet. The jury's not out. He's still going to be able to play 2025. And if he plays tough and shows that toughness that he does show a lot, if he can do it in the big games, if he can hoist the trophies, maybe he does. Maybe he does come up. So he's not done yet. But again, we love seeing experience with quarterbacks. It's kind of a rising trait among successful quarterbacks at the NFL level. But on the same side of that token, we've seen a lot. When you see a lot, you can pick out a lot of mistakes. Now, like I said, polarizing player. My comp for Drew Allar, Matt Ryan. Not super mobile, but a decent enough athlete. good arm, good player. Can he win the big game? When you're up 28-3 in the third quarter in the Super Bowl, can you nail it down? Can you not? See how there's a lot of similarities with not only the player, but the mystique around Matt Ryan. But again, Matt Ryan had a great year at Boston College, Heisman Trophy type season, went first overall. But if he had a bad season at BC, probably a third or fourth round pick. I see a lot of similarities with Drew Allar, but I got him higher than probably most in this space. But that's because the size, the ability, the experience, it's there. It's just boiling at the top. Is it going to blow or is it going to capsize? Is it going to be an active volcano or a dormant volcano? I don't know. A lot going on in Drew Allar in his 2025 season, but I'm excited to sit back and watch Drew Allar, the number 4 quarterback on my list. Coming in at number 3, that's right, folks. We are in the top 3 of my quarterback list. Number 3, LaNorris Sellers, quarterback from South Carolina, 6'3", 242 pounds. Beast, absolute beast. He is a redshirt sophomore going into his redshirt sophomore season. And it's clear why scouts and people in the biz, the industry of NFL draft are very interested in this young man. He's got it. Oh, got the size, bricked up, 242 pounds, beast. He's got a strong arm. He's athletic. He has those highlights. You go, oh, this kid could be special. But he's also have some lowlights. Same type of, what comes with the excitement can go both ways, right? You can break 3 tackles and run for a touchdown. You can break 2 tackles and throw an errant pass over the middle that gets picked. There's a little of that. There's a little ball security issue when it comes to LaNorris Sellers. And I'm talking about by land and by air. Picks and fumbles. He had a lot of them last year. He's going to have to get that better. He's going to have to get that under wraps. But the team itself, South Carolina is ascending. The prospect is ascending. He could be the quarterback out there leading the charge. Now, I have him in this list because he is 2026 draft eligible. Another guy on this list is kind of in the same boat. We'll talk about it when we get to him. But with LaNorris Sellers, I could see him absolutely staying until 2027, especially if Allar has a good year, Klubnik has a good year, someone like Fernando Mendoza, some of the other guys maybe we'll talk about. If everyone kind of has good years at quarterback and we're talking he's going to struggle to be a top 5 quarterback, even though he's good, I could see him going back. And also, if he has a season like last year where it's just he needs to marinate another one, I could see him going back. But the skills is there. The size that you cannot teach is there. The playmaking ability is there. The arm is there. Now, when bringing up a comp for LaNorris Sellers, the comp is a polarizing comp. It's going to have to be. When you're talking about this level of athlete, when you talk about this potential, this massive ball of clay that could be molded into an absolute weapon at any level of football, of course the comp's going to be a bit lofty. If he develops, we're talking about a Cam Newton, Josh Allen type of quarterback. If that arm can catch up to the athleticism, if the decision-making can catch up to the rushing ability, if the playmaking ability can maintain while he improves the intangibles at being quarterback, we're talking about Cam Newton. We're talking about Josh Allen. We're talking about a bona fide first-round pick with tremendous upside. But my comp here today in my stage 1 scouting is Anthony Richardson. Of course, polarizing, tantalizing talent. Came out of University of Florida a couple of years ago, but we've seen the highs and lows of that type of prospect if they are not fully ready to be successful at the next level. I need to see it from Sellers. Right now, my Anthony Richardson comp is not a knock on him. Of course, we like that potential, but if I see some refinement in his game, if we see that evolution in the skills and abilities that really help quarterbacks be successful at the NFL level, we could see that comp climb, as well as seeing LaNorris continue to climb rankings. LaNorris Sellers is an absolute freak. He's going to be one of the most exciting players in college football heading into 2025. That's why he's my number 3 quarterback. Got top 2 quarterbacks left. Let's start with number 2, Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. He is 6'2", 200 pounds going into his red shirt senior season. So again, we're talking about that marinating process. We're talking about that ability to get a lot of starts under the belt. in my opinion, after watching the film, after breaking it down, he is the most NFL-ready quarterback in the class. I believe he has the safest floor, which, again, might be a cop-out, might be a shrimp move, but that is why he's up at top number. That's why he's towards the top of the list at number 2, because I feel like his stats will be at least as good as they were in 24. I believe his abilities will be at least as good as 2024. And we're talking about a QB coach's son. I mean, his father has coached quarterbacks at every level of football. So he is going to have the mindset. He has the IQ. He has all the tools to really burst onto the scene, or even if he just kind of middles, kind of bobs at the top of the service, I still believe that NFL scouts may look at him as a first-round pick based on his readiness already at this point in his career. And I love the way he can fit the ball into tight spaces. He is not afraid to try to put, right, kind of zip it right into that little window, that little opening that the defense gives. He will absolutely toss that ball into tight spaces. He's got a good arm that he can use to attack the entire field. I mean, he can throw the ball all over the place. And like I said, he can absolutely thread the needle. Now, as of right now, this is right now, he plays what I would call the right amount of cowboy. He's got a sprinkle of cowboy, but he's not quite full Brett Favre. If you know what I mean, he's not just too much of a crazy man. That's more like Sam Levitt right now is a little bit too much cowboy. Right now, Garrett Nussmeier is that right level of cowboy, but that also can hurt him at the next level if he doesn't develop some of those skills that he needs to work on. I think when watching him and even just kind of listening to others in the industry talk about his athleticism, I think there's more left in the tank in terms of rushing. I'd like to see him run the ball more. He only had 15 scrambles last year. I mean, some guys, they might get that in a game or 2 games. I mean, they're off and running. I'd like to see more scrambling from Nussmeier. But he does stay in the pocket. He will deliver that throw. But I want to see him run a little bit. I want to see him get out there and scoop just a little bit more, show off those legs. My comp for him, this might cause some people to be upset, but I'm sorry. I'm making it. It's CJ Stroud. I see a lot of CJ Stroud in his game, a lot of ability to fit that ball in tight quarters, accurate, good arm, can attack all over the place. I see a lot of CJ Stroud and Garrett Nussmeier's game. So I think that the sky's the limit for a guy like Nussmeier. I believe at that program, in the SEC, if he has an electric season, which he is projected to have a very, very good season, already had a good one last year, why not build on it? If he does build on it and then shows that evolution, we're talking about a guy that's going to be in the conversation for the 101. No doubt about it, and that is why Garrett Nussmeier is my number 2 quarterback. Before we get into number 1, I want to bring up my honorable mentions. I have Carson Beck, I have Sawyer Robertson, I have Luke Altmaier, and Nico. Let me see if I get this right. Iamaleya. Sorry, Nico. I'll get it. It's stage 1. It's stage 1. But anyway, these 4 guys I'll mention. These are the guys that might be on the list later on the season, or guys that you might be saying, why isn't he on the list now? So Altmaier and Robertson, names you might not be totally familiar with, but you might be. They're 2 quarterbacks that have a lot of traits that really had some good film that just missed this list. That might have been my 9-10 if I did a full top 10, but I'm only doing top 8, just a little teaser here in my stage 1 process. So those 2 guys are 2 quarterbacks you could absolutely see take the rise. Luke Altmaier playing for Illinois, fighting Illini, and of course Sawyer Robertson over Baylor Bears, taking they're going to be taking on a lot this year. They're expected to have bigger years than last year, and they do pop on film in a number of areas. So those are 2 guys that might make this list here soon enough. And the other 2, Carson Beck and Nico, these guys have kind of been expected to be on this list, but they've kind of fallen off. I mean, Carson Beck was a lot of number 1. He was on a lot of people's board at number 1 at the quarterback position just a year ago. But I don't know. It seems like it's just not going to work. I've never really liked the prospect, even at Georgia. Now at Miami, is he going to be Cam Ward or is he going to be Tyler Van Dyke? There's a lot to be seen there. And of course, Nico, the decision-making so far in his young man's college career is questionable at best, leaving money on the table to go from the SEC, Tennessee playoff program to go to UCLA. I don't know. I'm not counting him out. He's only 20 years old. If he could put together a good season and transfer back to a big prominent program a year from now, it would be going into his 21, 22 age season. Plenty of time to still be a dynamic quarterback at the NFL level. But right now, seems like the NFL's down on him based on his decision-making. It seems like he needs to do some things in terms of his inner circle. No comment on the people that are telling him what to do, but when the NFL is clear about their question, when they're clear about their concern about decision making in terms of a player at this stage of his career, that's not good. That's why he fell off my list here. But of course, the talent is there, and he could absolutely make the list. So my honorable mentions of my top 8 coming in at number 1 on the list because I ain't scared. Arch Manning. Arch Manning, 6'4", 225 pounds. University of Texas, going into his redshirt sophomore season. Now, when it comes to Arch Manning, there's two sides of the coin. There's two paths up the mountain. There are the people who are, I'm not going to call them scared at all. What I am going to call them is protective. They're protective of the brands that they've built. They're protective of the clip. They don't want to be clipped. Oh, you had to. So they use the excuse. He doesn't have a lot of starts. He's not making my list. He doesn't have a lot of starts. I have him behind some of the other guys. I get it. Again, I don't call it scared. It's not being scared. It's just being protective. It's being cautious, which is good. But me, I got a little of that Sam Leavitt in me, baby. I'm ready to let it rock. He's my number 1 quarterback. I'm not scared to say it. I'm not cautious to say it. I'm not protecting the brand. I believe it. You come to Blue Chips for my takes. You come to Blue Chips for my analysis, not for my ability to protect my brand. No. Arch Manning's number 1. And here's why. It's all there. It is all there. 6'4", 225. And he's got tree trunks for legs. This kid he's a statue. 6'4", 225 is one of the biggest quarterbacks on this list going into his redshirt sophomore season. Prospect pedigree, obviously, through the roof. Number 1 overall prospect coming out of high school. Arm talent's there. Mobility's there. Size is there. The football IQ there. I mean, damn, he's a Manning. And I don't believe he'll be in the 2026 class. So for fantasy gamers, get those 27 picks. I don't see Manning being in the NFL in 2026. I think it's a year after that. I think he has 2 starting years. Everyone's heard the rhetoric. Everyone's heard that the Manning, the family, the father, the coach, the program, the establishment, the Manning establishment wants him to not only prove it as a starter, but repeat that proof and do it again as a 2-year starter. That's kind of been the thoughts. And I wholeheartedly believe. Now, could he come absolutely light college football on fire, win the Heisman Trophy, win the national championship, and then run off into the sunset to be the quarterback 1, the number 1 overall pick next year? Sure, there is that possibility. But Arch Manning seems to be in the right hands, obviously, based on his uncles and his father and his grandfather. I mean, you don't call a lot of – you don't say last name – the Manning establishment is real. So you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. So for, a lot of the scouts out there, a lot of the, process, they're saying, oh, I got to see it. I'm projecting too much. Well, if you're going to project on any quarterback, you might as well project on a guy who's been born to do this quite literally in Arch Manning. And the mobility, like his grandfather, like his father, who was the wide receiver. Cooper was the wide receiver. He's got that mobility, but he also has the arm talent of his uncles. He's got the head of his uncles. And I do mean a big head. He's got a big head. He's a big kid. But Eli, Peyton, they're going to be teaching him all the ins and outs, the intricacies of playing quarterback, and you see it already. I mean, I know a lot of his production last year came against weaker competition, but sometimes you can see things happen. You go, whoa. And one of those things happened when he played UTSA, which, again, UTSA was not a good team. I think they were outside the top 65 in terms of defensive metrics. Not good, but look in the mirror. For most of you watching this, all those starters on UTSA were better than most of the kids here in high school, probably better than you at football too. So I'm not going to completely discount them. But when you watch the 65-yard touchdown run in that game, he makes a man miss and then breaks away for a touchdown, which he actually gains separation. I mean, he runs away from the competition. Now, I know that's not SEC. There wasn't SEC caliber players, not NFL level caliber players. So I'm not saying that will translate 1-to-1. But seeing a quarterback take off and not lose ground at the end, but push, really, really shows how athletic this kid is. I mean, this guy is the absolute limit, and I'm not nervous to. I keep using nervous skin. I don't want to do that because that's not how I feel about people being cautious about the projection. I think you can have the mentality to be a gunslinger, or you can kind of be conservative here. I'm going to gunsling because I think Arch Manning is sick, nasty. My comp for Arch Manning? Andrew Luck. Remember Andrew Luck at Stanford, just the picture perfect prospect throughout the entire process? That's what I see with Arch Manning. A big kid, 6'4", 225, mobile kid, good processor, smart guy, arm talent that you just don't see all over the place. Arch Manning's awesome. And unfortunately, folks, I think he's going to make my top 10 or top 8 list for my stage 1 scouting for 26 as well, because I don't think he's coming out for the 2026 draft, but he is eligible. So until I know for sure, I will lump him in the group. I'm not going to not scout and not, pay attention to Arch Manning. He's obviously there, and that's why, he's on this list. But he's nasty, size, speed, athleticism. He's awesome. He is him. That's a watch. I mean, I'm 37. I can't say that term without sounding like a sup fellow kids. Can't really, you know what I mean? I can't do one of those things, but he is him, the.com. And that's why Arch Manning is the number 1 quarterback on my list. That's it. That's the list. Fernando Mendoza, 8, coming in at number 8. Number 7, Sam Leavitt. Number 6, John Mateer, my favorite quarterback so far. At number 5, Cade Klubnik. Number 4, Drew Allar. Number 3, LaNorris Sellers. Number 2, Garrett Nussmeier. And number 1, Mr. Archibald Manning. I think that's his name. Anyway, I'm Matty Cubum. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the Player Profiler YouTube channel. And then head over playerprofiler.com. Get our articles. Get all of the podcasts. Get it going. And if you love drafting, if you're a sicko like me and you just want to draft rookies, you just want to draft, you just want to get into it, but you also don't have a lot of time, head over, get the Fast Draft app. People, make sure you get that Fast Draft app right now and make sure you're rocking with Player Profile. We'll see you next time. Bye.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com. Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.